this video, you're gonna get to see a presentation I did live in the Blender conference in LA in 2024. I'm Luciano, and welcome to the adventures of LollypopMan. First of all, I want to thank Autotroph for bringing over a little piece of the heart of the Blender conference in Amsterdam all the way down to this side of the world. I'm personally a big fan of the Blender conference in Amsterdam, and so bringing it over here made it more accessible to people that otherwise couldn't experience it. I also got the opportunity to talk in front of my peers about a project that's really near and dear to my heart called FREELANCE, which is a short film that I announced here in the channel a couple of years ago and that we had just finished. So without further ado, remember to like and subscribe, and let's get on to the video. But first, a word from our sponsor.
This episode is sponsored by me.
Sign up on Patreon, Ko-fi, or YouTube to help me dedicate more time to make videos for our community. You can also use any of the affiliate links below or buy any of my products.
Hello? Okay, there we go. Hi. Welcome to the adventures of... No, wait. That's not today. I'm Luciano, and I'm going to talk to you about Freelance, which is a short film I've been working on for a couple of years with some friends, sometimes alone, sometimes on my spare time, sometimes full-time, you know. That's how you do projects, basically, on the side. So a very quick brief about me. I'm an animator by trade. I come from Chile. I live in Vancouver. I've worked in a couple of movies. Some of them you might see, some of them not, hopefully. I run a very small YouTube channel where I talk about animation every now and then. So thank you for everybody that's giving me nice words about it, because that's very encouraging. As you know, it's a hobby for me, so I do videos every now and then, but not super often. Just enough like to fill my own heart. But it really fills me when you guys say something about it. And so Freelance, what is Freelance? Freelance is a little short film that started a couple of years ago. Basically, based on my experience working with people and working in productions where somebody doesn't have a clear idea of what they want. We're going to dive a little bit more into that. But the main thing of the talk, and it's why it's called the quest for the next step, is that I have very shitty drawing skills, really, really shitty. And this is not even the worst one. But regardless of that, when you're doing a project for passion and you want to really make something, it's important to not be stopped by your own skills, right? You just got to start. You start, and then you move on to the next step. And then everything that you do will help you go to that next step. So this is how it started. This is how it's going. And we're going to show you a little bit more about those shitty drawings. Like, these are my drawings, right? But I did just enough that it could help me evolve into the next step. And so the film evolved and evolved, until that's how it looks now, right? Which makes me very happy, because that's the work of like a couple of people, a couple of very talented people. Lucky me that I got to work with them. And so the film, it's called Freelance, because if you may know, I really like the etymology of words, where they come from. So freelance comes from the mercenaries, like from the medieval times, where there was like kings and there was like knights, and the knights had lances, and so there was knights that would work for multiple kings, and so those were called freelances, basically. And I took inspiration from the word. Like, you kind of look at the word, and now that you know the meaning of it, you go like, the story is kind of telling itself. Like really, like nobody's done this film already? Seriously? So I gathered some reference, did those shitty drawings, and moved on and showed my friends, hey, maybe, what do you think of this? And what do you think of that? And everything was information to take the next step. So the gathering of references was another way of taking that next step, so I could focus on, this is what I want to do, or communicate it to someone else. And so kept on doing more shitty drawings, and more shitty drawings, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more. But the whole point of this is that I didn't need to draw well. I just needed to draw enough that I could communicate an idea so I could go to the next step, right? And really, really really, really awful. And I've been lucky to work in very big movies where there's super talented artists. So my first stop when I thought about making this talk was like, I'm gonna show this shit to the world. So as ugly as that was, I could hear the laughs over there, and that's the key. That, like, I was able to communicate enough to make someone laugh, to not have to ask any questions, and go to the next step. Once I was there, I was talking to a good friend in London, Marion, and she's a really good character designer on the side from being an animator. And she really wanted to build an animation portfolio, a character design portfolio. And so I told her, well, I'm doing this little thing, so what do you think? And she went like, cool, and do some designs, and we moved on to the next step. She did more designs, and then more, and then more, and then more. But then I needed to do another animatic because I needed to do it better with like now the final designs, understand like these new designs gave me the key to the next step. How can I use this to my advantage? And so I just like kind of cut and paste things here and there using the tools that I had and just copy, paste, modify this. And it's still my shitty drawings, but now because of her design, it just like looks better, it's more clear, etc. And I just kept on doing more stuff. And here's like the next evolution of that animatic. So, as you can see, not that much better, but more clear, more precise, more concise. If I showed it to more people, it was easier for them to understand what was happening. And after that, you go like, well, it's done, right? No, it's not a film. So I did the proof testing, I showed it to other friends, and then I had the question, do you actually want to make the film? Because, you know, when you go this far, like all that process was about 4.5 years. Yeah, working on the side, doing it in your own time, you know how it gets. But at this point, I showed it to a bunch of friends. They all laughed. They were like, oh, this is really great. What are you gonna do? I was like, maybe nothing, because like it's like you already laughed. That was the whole point of it. Well, maybe you could make some more people laugh. Okay, fair enough. So now we just do the rest of the film. And so I started doing a bunch of things with a bunch of friends and just playing around, because creating a film or creating art, it's about that, experimenting, having fun. We just like put stuff in Blender, we put stuff in Maya. We did tests with like different cameras. We had thousands of meetings. I did crappy 2D, very crappy 2D, more crappy 2D, mixed up with other things. I joined with a couple of like really talented people from the community, from outside the community, did stuff, redid stuff again. Sorry, that's Maya. I know it's not allowed, but we did stuff. We did lots of stuff. And throughout the last 1.5 years, we've been working on that. Let's do that next step. Let's do that next step. Let's do that next step. And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And we'd use every tool that we could possibly use, or that we knew how to use to get to where we wanted to. You see, look there. Those are all of the stuff that was done, but only because I had that animatic and I had like the clear idea of what I wanted to make, and then people were eager to participate and do this with me, and then it's like, cool, all right, that takes us to the next step. Yes, I did some Blender as well, of course. And so I'm gonna show you a brief clip of how it looks now. I'm glad you like it. I like it too. This is the first time I watch it so big in such a nice screen, and it's like, oh fuck it, that's very cool. And so, yeah, we've been doing the film. We're still doing it. That's why it's not entirely there. It's like really this much left to do. But I have a few takeaways of all this process and all this experience. And one of them is plan. Everything that you can plan, please plan. Because there's always gonna be things that are gonna fail. So the more you can plan, the least things fail. But still, a lot of things are going to fail. So plan. Obviously, like I don't know about you, but I have 2 folders of old projects. One that is like maybe 100 projects that I decided not to ever touch again, and one of like, yeah, maybe I'll touch that again sometime, right? So focus on your project, because it's really easy to, to lose track, to forget, to maybe lose the hunger, and it's fine. Sometimes you can put it down and then you can pick it up again. But it's important to, like, if you are actually really committed to the project, to carry on with it. And mostly when you involve more people, absolutely, you have to get it to the end line, because otherwise everybody ends up with nothing. Work smart, use all the tools available. And as you saw, we use Maya, we use Houdini, we use Blender, because when you work with people, like the biggest thing is like, not the tool, you're doing something. And the best tool is usually the one that you know how to use. And so we had a short time frame, and they were like, well, we already know how to use this, so we'd be thrilled to learn Blender for this project, but also maybe it will take us 3 years instead of 1. So we just use what we had. But also there's so many resources available everywhere. Like, I don't know about you, but when I started, there were barely channels that talked about animation, let alone Blender. Actually, I think I bought the first CG cookie tutorial, like back then when they gave you a t-shirt and everything, because there was nothing. So there was nothing. There was like a modeling tutorial or something like this. But yeah, use everything. There's so much stuff. Most of the audios that you heard in the thing were free sound, and then my voice, me doing like. So yeah, I'm blue, 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 blue. So trust your team. If you get a team, fucking trust them and give them leeway to do what they do best, right? Because that's the idea. If you work with more people that have other skills that you don't, is that you listen to them, take that, and put it all together. Because a friend of mine a couple of months ago asked me, do you feel that your vision has been accomplished in the film? And I had a trouble answering because I hadn't processed that. And when I figured out what happened, it's like when I started working with people, it wasn't my vision anymore. It was like our collective vision of what this was. It was like an elevated version of that vision because of all the talent they brought together and put it to and all the passion they put on it. And yeah, enjoy the process, because where you start is definitely not where you're gonna end. And start with shitty skills. Like, doesn't matter. Don't wait. You just start, and then you take the next step, and then you take the next step, and then you take the next step. I think the phrase is, journey of 1,000 steps takes one step at a time, or starts with one step. There you go. That's exactly how it is, right? You just wanna do something, do it. Just start. And so what's next? I probably screwed up that one. What's next? We're getting into festivals. Luckily, we don't even have the film finished. We already got into one. So hopefully, if we finish the 0.5% that we have left, we will hit more. So soon into a screen near you. Thank you.
So I hope you enjoyed a little bit of a glimpse of behind the scenes of the freelance film. I do have a longer edition of this talk with lots more behind the scenes and material from the 7 years that it's been in the works. I've done this longer version at places like SIGGRAPH Colombia, Langara College of Art, Canyon View High School, and Vivo Animation School. So if you want me to do one at your school, at university, or in your event, just reach out and we can talk through the details. Anyways, after this talk happened, we've also been selected to 3 more festivals. I mentioned during the talk that we've been selected to the Chile Monos Festival in Chile, but since then we've also been selected at Golden Cooker Festival in Bulgaria, to SIGGRAPH in the US, and to the OFF Festival in beautiful Odense, Denmark. So stay tuned to the channel. We're gonna release the teaser very soon. And I think that's it. Let me know any questions that you have. Put them on the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. But also, I might actually put them on a making of video that I'll do further down the road when the project is deemed kind of closed. So remember to like and subscribe. Join me on Patreon, Ko-fi, or YouTube so I can make more films like this one. And see me next time.